In the Isekai Restaurant Nekoya, a mage, samurai, beast, and 2 other people argue about their favorite food. With their opinions differing, the 5 get into an argument, but Master, the owner of the restaurant, threatens not to cook for them anymore if they keep fighting, after which all of them immediately settled to peacefully eat. Later, the Red Queen, a dragon lord, shapeshifts into her human form, telling her servant that she's going out. As the diners are wary to eat with her, she agreed with the arrangement offered by Master to come inside the restaurant only when no one is around. She enters through the door and brings with her a large pot. She orders a bowl of stew and savors the dish. After she's done, she pays up, takes a large pot with her as takeout, and promises to come again. At 4 in the morning, Master wakes up and heads down to his restaurant to start preparing for the day. He's surprised to see a girl sleeping on the floor of his kitchen. She introduces herself as Aletta, and she tells him that while she's trying to sleep in the ruins, she discovered a strange door. Thinking she was only dreaming, she wandered inside and ate the delicious soup before falling asleep. She apologizes before confessing that she's a demon. She worked as a waitress in a human city, but when others discovered her horns, she lost her job. Without money, she ended up in the ruins. After hearing her story, Master invites her to eat breakfast with him. He cooks her a breakfast special, which she thoroughly enjoys. He then offers her to work for him as a waitress once every 7 days, which she enthusiastically accepts. Under his instructions, Aletta washes up and changes into her uniform. Sarah, a treasure hunter, peruses the diary of William, her ancestor, that tells of a door that appeared every 7 days on the day of Satur. Following the directions of the diary, she locates the door and holds up a knife. A surprised Aletta welcomes her before Master asks the newcomer to put the blade away. Once inside, Master explains that the door distorts space-time and creates several doors to another world. Master and Aletta invite her to try their food. Curious, she reads through the restaurant's menu before deciding on ordering today's special, which turns out to be William's favorite, minced cutlet. When her food is served, Aletta advises that she should eat the cutlets with the sauce and call for her if she wants seconds of the bread and soup. She tries the bread and soup first and enjoys it very much, so she orders seconds. Upon trying the cutlets, she's stunned by how delicious they are and surprised that they're even better with the sauce. Meanwhile, Artorias, the mage, and Tetsuguru, the samurai, arrive and meet Aletta, who's on her first day. Before Sarah leaves, Master gives her a takeout of cutlet sandwiches that William would always order. Master asks her what happened to William, and she replies that he died peacefully and that he was vexed he couldn't come to the restaurant anymore. The 2 men who just arrived remember William and deem Sarah as minced cutlet number 2. Later, Tetsuguru visits Captain Heinrich and hands him a familiar sword. He recalls 3 years ago when he was tasked to deliver an important message. Heinrich was at the last of his strength when he chances upon a cabin. Barging inside, he demands to be fed and gets surprised when Master easily relented. He's surprised to discover that it was a restaurant. He ordered fried shrimp before enjoying lemon water and a warm towel. After enjoying the dish, he liked it so much that he ordered 3 more, loving the tartar sauce that came with them. As Heinrich didn't have money with him, he left his sword as collateral, promising to pay the next time he comes. He hurriedly left and completed his mission. Days later, he came back to the cabin but didn't see the restaurant. Back in the present, Tetsuguru volunteers to lead him to a door that is near Heinrich's fortress. The restaurant door opens and an excited Heinrich enters through it. Thomas, the former proprietor of Alfade Company, which sells pasta and pasta sauces, enters through the restaurant door at their cellar with his grandson, Sirius, and a sack of ingredients. Inside, Sirius is amazed by the decor and the unfamiliar things he sees. In exchange for the sack of ingredients that they brought, Master gives them the proceeds that the restaurant earned. Thomas informs Sirius that the Master uses those ingredients to research flavors and adjust the recipes so they'll be palatable to them. The 2 of them order extra-large servings of spaghetti with sauce. The 2 dig in, enjoying the food. Thomas thinks they still have a long way to go to achieve this taste, while Sirius wonders why this restaurant has a dish with a taste that their company has yet to put out. His grandfather merely smiles, and he comes to a sudden realization as he flips through the restaurant's menu. All of their products are inspired by the pasta dishes that the restaurant offers. When they return, Thomas permits Sirius to go to the restaurant whenever he likes to. Some years before, Wilhelm took his granddaughter, Adelheid, to the restaurant, telling her to keep this place a secret from everyone else. Currently, Adelheid, who has become a young woman, doesn't remember much of the restaurant except that she ate clouds. She returns to the home of her late grandfather to rest while she's sick with a coughing disease. The next day, a door appears before her while reading. She opens a door and remembers her grandfather bringing her to this place. Master immediately recognizes her as Wilhelm's granddaughter. She again remembers eating clouds and requests for it, which Master understands. A while later, Aletta serves her chocolate parfait. She's ecstatic when she tastes the many flavors of the parfait and the wintry coldness that touches her tongue. The next day, Adelheid tells her concerned maid that she feels a lot better now. Gagenpo, a lizard man of the Blue Tails tribe, bathes and dries off the water from his body to prepare himself for an excursion on the special day. After putting on his armor, he heads to the altar, where 30 years ago a door had suddenly appeared. The strongest hero then, Garupa, entered it and discovered a restaurant. When he came back, he brought food with him. Since then, a tradition has been born. Every 7 days, the tribe's strongest man, chosen in an annual festival, would enter the world and bring back food with him. In the present, Gagenpo takes with him a sack of coins with 3 empty giant bowls. Inside, he orders using the words that Garupa learned from the master of the other world. Large omelet rice. 3 omelet rice orders to go. Finally, he's served with a magnificent yellow dish striped with vivid red lines. Before the first dish is gone, he orders a second one, and when he finishes his meal, Gagenpo is full and satisfied. He brings home the 3 takeout party omelets, which the tribe shares among themselves. Meanwhile, an elf named Fardania leaves her worried father to search for ingredients. She wants to offer something delicious for her mother's death anniversary. While on her journey, she chances upon a door nestled within the trunk of a tree. She enters and sees a busy restaurant inside. She peruses through the menu and sees nothing she could order. She looks at the other diners, dismayed at how barbaric their tastes are. She tells Aletta she'd like a dish without meat, fish, milk, or eggs. Aletta asks Master, who says if she doesn't mind leaving it to the chef's choice. Then he can prepare a full meal for her. Doubtful that he could deliver an entirely meatless dish, she's surprised when they serve her a delicious-looking meal called tofu steak. Made with seaweed stock and served with rice, Master is confident she'll be able to eat it. On her first bite, she's instantly reminded of her youth when her mother was still alive. Her mother learned from humans how to dry mushrooms, which improves a dish to a whole new level. She believes an ingredient of the tofu dish is dried the same way before being cooked. With the sour, salty sauce, each bite of the tofu steak gives a light, satisfying feeling that fills up her stomach. Fardania is impressed by the human's cooking and resolves to cook better. Every 7 days, she visits the same tree where the door that the restaurant appeared. Aletta asks Master why the beast warrior Lionel only eats cutlet rice bowls. He then tells her a story about the custom he heard from his grandfather. Many years ago, Lionel faced off with one of the 4 heroes, the half-elf Alexander. Defeated, he was sold to be a gladiator slave for 10,000 gold coins. If he's able to pay back the money through winning in the arena, he can buy back his freedom. On his first day, he's about to face off with a manticore, whom he doubted he could win against when a door suddenly materializes before him. With nothing to lose, he met the master of a restaurant, who invited him to eat. He asked for something to eat that could help him attain victory. The master served him a katsudan, explaining that katsu means victory in Japanese. Lionel instantly fell in love with the dish and wished for a second serving, but he didn't have money. The owner of the restaurant offered to make him more, saying he can pay him back when he has the money for it. After his meal, Lionel became determined to earn money to pay back those rice rolls. He defeated the manticore and went on to win 10,000 gold coins in just a year. He dominated the arena for more than 20 years, earning him the name Lion King. Impressed, Aletta is convinced Lionel can defeat Alexander after all the victory bowls that he had eaten. A princess named Victoria is born as a half-elf, although her parents were human. She chose to be a sorcerer and discovered she was a genius when it came to magic. She became the pupil of the greatest sorcerer in the kingdom, Artorius. After 8 years under his tutelage, Victoria returned to the duchy where she was granted generous research funds. However, she sets aside her research for a moment every 7 days. Victoria enters the restaurant and orders pudding a la mode, much to Aletta's surprise. As she peruses the menu, she remembers a time when Master asked her to write the menu for the desserts. She tried first the pudding a la mode, which instantly became her favorite. She orders it again and takes some pudding with her as takeout. When she returns, she places them on the cooling box that she invented herself to store the pudding. Aletta helps Master carry a box of potatoes, known as cobbler's tubers in her world, from the storeroom. She tells him that the cobbler's tubers never turn out well when she cooks them. Master promises to show her a simpler way to make them delicious. When the day starts, the usual customers arrive. Each of the regulars has a favorite dish that they love so much, it becomes their nickname. All of them are convinced that their favorite dish is the best dish the restaurant offers. It always develops into an argument if the topic of which dish tastes better comes up. That day, Heinrich argues with Sarah that shrimp cutlet sandwiches are the best, but she insists that the taste of bread with her usual cutlets are far superior. The debate becomes heated that other diners take notice. Aletta tries to calm them down, but her efforts are in vain. Artorias and Tatsugoro lightly berate them, and the two finally back down, apologizing for their behaviors. However, Artorias can't help but state it's the loin cutlet that makes the best sandwiches. Tatsugoro then states that teriyaki should make the tastiest sandwiches, as it stays savory even cold, unlike loin cutlets. The two then get into a heated debate themselves. Meanwhile, Lionel only focuses on getting seconds and thirds of his favorite rice bowl. Adelheid puts her 2 cents in, saying the best sandwich is fruit sandwiches with a cream, but Victoria thinks custard is better in fruit sandwiches. Everyone then starts ordering their favorite food for the others to try, to convince them that their opinion is right, overwhelming Aletta. Later, Master apologizes to Red, as the others left a little later than usual, but she's not bothered. With the restaurant finally closed, Master shows Aletta how to steam cobbler's tubers. She tries it and becomes amazed by the taste. With the butter on top, it's the first time she tasted cobbler's tubers that good. When Admiral Flugel is about to leave the restaurant, Master tells him to come again, and he promises that he will. Later, he looks at the island he's leaving forlornly. 20 years ago, Flugel's ship was attacked by the Kraken. He washed ashore on a remote island, where he eventually spent 20 long years alone. 3 days ago, his ship docked on the island to make some repairs, and he's saved. He went to the restaurant for perhaps the last time, but he became determined to eat at the restaurant again. After 3 months, Flugel finally finds a door connected to the restaurant. He demands to be served with curry rice before recalling how he first tasted curry. He found a door on the island which led to the restaurant. The master of that time offered him curry. Since then, he's eaten the dish 1,000 times. Master asks Flugel if he's willing to try a new curry dish, which makes him excited. Meanwhile, a lone dark dragon, Kuro, recalls her past. In a battle that lasted 1,000 years, she and 6 other dragons teamed up and defeated Chaos of the Many Tentacles. However, all beings born after the battle were weak, so much so that her mere presence kills them. To avoid killing innocents, she decides on living on the moon. There she remains alone when suddenly a door appears. On the other side of the door, Flugel tries the new curry rice and he exclaims how tasty it is. Suddenly, Kuro, who shifted into human form, enters the restaurant naked, which flusters everyone. She conjures some clothes before Flugel decides on treating her to curry. Artorias immediately recognizes her kind, but chooses to stay silent. When the dish is served, she likes it so much that she immediately finishes it and orders 4 seconds, sparking Flugel's competitive spirit. However, hours have passed and yet she still keeps eating. Red arrives and tells Kuro that to eat food in the restaurant you need money. Since she doesn't have money, Red volunteers her to work at the restaurant with only leftover curry rice as her compensation. She's fine with the arrangement while Aletta becomes concerned, thinking she's going to be replaced. Roque asks Arte, a mermaid, if this island is the right place, and she answers yes, thanking him that she finally has money. 3 days ago, Roque has swept overboard by waves during a storm. Arte saved him, carrying him back to the boat and praying to the gods to calm the skies. Roque thanked her and asked how he could repay her, and she quickly answered that she wanted 10 silver coins. Surprised, he gave her the money and she invited him to come to a place with her. Currently, Arte changed her fins for a set of dragon legs. They enter the restaurant through the door, and Arte immediately orders 2 Hamburg steaks with rice. The two of them enjoy the taste that Roque decides that they should get seconds, treating Arte upon knowing she doesn't have enough money. Later, Roque asks Arte if she'll go to the restaurant with him again, to which she answers yes. In town, Aletta knocks on a door before it's opened by Sarah, who's surprised to see her. A few days later, Aletta says she's so happy that she found another job as Sarah's housekeeper. She'll be cleaning, doing the laundry, and other stuff for 8 copper coins and a small room where she can stay. In the break room, Aletta paces herself and tries not to finish the cookies that Master had given her. Later, Master, who heard that Aletta has another job now, gives her a new box of cookies as a congratulatory gift. At Sarah's house, she paces herself again so she won't have to finish the cookies immediately. Sarah's sister, Shaya, arrives at her home and wonders how her sister ended up with a demon as a housekeeper. Once inside, Aletta serves her tea and the remaining biscuits that she has from the tin. Eating the delicious biscuits with tea, Shaya enjoys the taste so much that she asks Aletta where she bought them. Unable to get a clear answer, she asks her to buy a box of these cookies for her, giving her a gold coin. Surprised, Aletta agrees to the request. While climbing up the mountain, Gulheim tells his fellow dwarf Gard that they're going to a restaurant that serves great liquor and fish. They arrive at a shack where Gard is surprised when a door appears. Once inside, Gilhem immediately orders from Kuro 2 fried seafood platters plus 2 mugs of beer and a bottle of whiskey with rocks. While waiting for their food, they are served beer that they immediately chug down. They appreciate how easily the liquid slid down their throats and how cold the beer was. Guard, who's a glass-smith, appreciates the skill that created the glass that the beer is poured in. After chugging down their second round of beers, they eat their seafood platters, exclaiming at the delicious flavors of each bite they take. Gilhem declares that tartar sauce is the ultimate sauce for fish. They order 3 more platters, each, while the 2 drink good whiskey. Afterward, Guard wakes up in a rickety cabin and becomes determined to fix the place up. Meanwhile, Sharif, prince of the land of sand, sighs, thinking that Adelheid looks pretty as usual. 7 days pass, and Sharif and his half-sister Renner are on their way to the restaurant store again. Renner comments that Sharif is being too shy with Adelheid. When they arrive at the restaurant, Adelheid isn't around yet, and they order after perusing the menu. Sharif chooses a coffee float with ice cream, while Renner chooses melon soda with ice cream. They're enjoying their drinks when Sharif's crush arrives. She greets Renner first, and the others invite her to join their table, requesting her to tell them about the Empire. Adelheid sits down, making Sharif flustered, and orders her usual chocolate parfait. Renner thinks that if her only brother can be half as dignified as usual, he can probably easily win Adelheid's heart. Tiana, queen of the land of flowers, receives a report of a strange door suddenly appearing on the land. She immediately goes to see it and summons a guardian to open the door for them. Taking a squad with her, they enter the restaurant. She decides to ask Victoria to explain where they are right now. Victoria tells them that they are in a restaurant that connects to another world. Though doubtful, Tiana asks what Victoria could recommend from the menu. She recommends that they try the mixed fruit crepe, and Tiana follows her recommendation. After Aletta cuts up the crepe, Tiana tries it first, thinking it may be poisoned. Deeming the food is safe, all of them enjoyed the crepe. In exchange for a valuable seed, Victoria promises to pay for them whenever they eat at the restaurant in the future. Master drops by their table and asks if they love the dish, and Tiana replies that it's very delicious. A few months later, Tiana asks the guardian to open the door again before she and her subjects fly inside. Meanwhile, Ferdania is on her way to see Christian after reading a letter from her father. He is her father's best friend who is also a gourmand. Upon meeting him, Christian welcomes her warmly. She comments on the weird smell in his house, and he reveals he's fermenting elven beans that were inspired by a dish he'd eaten in a restaurant from another world before. Ferdania is not surprised, and Christian realizes she knows of its existence. Later, they enter the restaurant together. He orders natto spaghetti without egg for the 2 of them. When their dishes arrive, he appreciates the taste of the natto on the pasta. He's pleased to see that Ferdania seems to enjoy it herself as well. When they're finished eating, Ferdania requests to have natto again, but this time with rice. Stunned, Christian requests to have the same dish as well. It turns out that natto with rice is very delicious, which impresses Christian. When they get back to his home, he hands her a pot of elven bean miso before she heads out. While eating curry, Kuro remembers Red's words, telling her to protect the restaurant from anyone who has ill will. Both Master and Aletta are extremely weak beings, so they must be protected. Arius is invited by his mate, Iris, to check out the Chimera Killer's island. Both are sirens looking for a place to make their nest. Arius is hesitant, knowing that the Chimera Killer is a dangerous person, but Iris manages to convince him. On the island where Admiral Flugel spent 20 years, the 2 sirens spot a pouch filled with gold and silver coins and within it a letter. It says that on the top of the hill, a door appears on the day of Satur on every 7th day. The 2 decide to stay on the island in the meantime. After a few days, the 2 spot the door that Flugel referred to in his letter. Inside, they're greeted by Aletta, who tells them that the place is a restaurant from another world. While Aletta leaves them alone for a while, Iris finds a piano and invites Arius to sing with her. Instantly, they influence Master and Aletta without meaning to. Kuro is quick to act, stopping both of them from singing. She tells them that if they want to eat her again and return in one piece, then the 2 must promise not to sing again. The 2 are apologetic and give her their word. Aletta brings them their menus, but they don't know what to pick. Iris asks for raw fish, which flusters Aletta, who then runs to ask Master. She comes back and tells them that they have a raw fish dish called carpaccio. Master serves them the dish, and they're surprised by how tasty it is. They just finished their seconds when Flugel arrives. Arius is surprised when he hears the Admiral's name before smiling. Outside, Arius proposes to officially make the island their nest and starts up the tally that Flugel left. When their last customer finally leaves, Master offers Kuro the curry buns he's about to cook for dinner. They turn out to be crispy golden brown with a rich curry filling on the inside. Before Aletta leaves, she tells Kuro to be careful. Though Kuro thinks Aletta's worry is unnecessary, she still thanks her. Master announces they're serving soup as today is special day. Years ago, 4 heroes joined forces to put an end to the centuries-long war with the evil demons. They slew the demon god, but they lost their strongest hero, Yomi. One of the heroes, Alexander, visits his fellow hero Artorias. He requests to be brought to the restaurant from another world, saying there's something he'd like to eat. Artorias easily agrees and advises that they wait until evening, as it would be a bad idea for him to meet the other diners. Meanwhile, it's a pretty busy day at the restaurant, and the soup proves to be popular with the customers. Finally, Artorias arrives with Alexander in tow. Artorias orders his usual, while Alexander orders croquettes with beer. Kuro passes by them, which makes Alexander sweat, immediately knowing that crossing with her is bad news. After the food is served, Alexander takes a bite and becomes amazed at how delicious it tastes. He understands now why Wilhelm, his son, was so fixated on this food. Later, Artorias reveals that Yomi is alive, which stuns Alexander. He further adds that Yomi even has a grandchild in this world, hinting it to be Master. Later, Alexander visits Wilhelm's grave, lightly scolding him for dying before his father. He then says loudly that he went to the restaurant and the croquettes are good. Adelheid arrives at her grandfather's grave, surprised to see someone crying. However, the stranger disappears a second later. Back at the restaurant, Aletta questions Master if the restaurant could afford to give out free soup, but he tells her not to worry about it. Special Day happens only once a month, and the meals earn the money back. Besides, everyone ate it so happily that it can't hurt to do it once in a while. Touched, Aletta tears up before Master tells them that they'll be having dinner soon.